Are you looking to take movie night to the next level? No better way to do that than by setting up an outdoor movie theater. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Brian Lovett, aka B-Love. Today we're talking about this guy right here, the XGIMI Halo outdoor projector. Now, like most of you, I've been stuck at home the past couple months and I've been updating my backyard, adding small little details just to make it a little more comfortable for me and my family. Now, one of the things I enjoy doing is having a movie night with the kids, and I thought what better way to make that a little bit cooler than to set up an outdoor theater. XGIMI has 3 different models of projectors, and you can use these both indoor and outdoor, so they're great for camping or using around the house, whatever you might want to do. This one's the Halo. They also have the Mogo and the Mogo Pro. Now, the differences between those are kind of broken down into a couple of things. It's resolution and the lumen light output of the projector itself. All 3 use LED projectors. The Mogo has a 540p display. This is 1080p. The Mogo Pro is also 1080p. Now, while the Mogo Pro has a 300 lumen light output projector, this one's closer to 800 lumens, and that's going to make a pretty big difference when you're using this outside. Other notable features about this projector: it has Harman Kardon speakers built in. It also has USB, HDMI, and an audio jack output on the back. One of the cooler things about this one is that it has a feature that pretty much every projector should have, but I couldn't find any others that do have. It has this camera up on the front, and what that does is it helps this autofocus. So if you move this or bump it or place it in a different location, it actually automatically focuses because it projects a logo onto the screen or the wall or wherever you're using it. And it uses the camera to tell if that is in focus or not, so it can automatically adjust. So this thing's kind of amazing in that aspect, is that you can kind of just pull it out of the box, get it up and running, and kind of set it and forget it. There are a couple kind of killer features about this, and the first one I want to talk about is the fact that it uses Android as the operating system. Now, the reason that's cool is because the user interface is pretty smooth and intuitive. It has Google Assistant built in, so there's some voice commands you can use straight from the remote, if I can find it. Here it is. The remote's simple, but you've got this Google Voice button up here, so you can use Google Assistant. Kind of a nice feature. The other cool stuff is you can download thousands of apps from the Play Store, and so this can actually, you could throw games on here. The other cool thing about this projector, and probably the biggest reason I bought this, is you might notice that there's no wires. This has a 17,100 milliamp hour battery built right into it. That's pretty cool because this can be used completely wirelessly. It has Wi-Fi, it has Bluetooth, it has everything else built into it. And so you can truly make this a portable unit. Now, battery life, of course, is something you'll want to talk about. They claim that it has about a 2-hour battery life. The thing about that is there's 2 different light levels. There's a very high light level and there's a lower light level. That 2-hour battery life is definitely at the lower light level. I used this and I probably got about an hour out of it using the highest light level, the 800 lumen output. Now, of course, you can just as easily plug this thing in. It comes with a power cord, so you can plug it into an extension cord or inside the house, wherever you need to use it, and that works just fine as well. Another nice part about this is that it actually has a standard mount on the bottom for a camera mount, so you can actually attach this to a tripod. In fact, I usually use this mounted on a tripod, or you can just set it down next to you on a table and just as easily use it there. So then, how well does this little guy actually work in practice? Well, it's real simple. You just pull it out of the box, you fire it up, you sign into a Google account, and you're kind of off and running. Now, there are of course some caveats. So if you're planning on using this and you want to use it during the day outside, that's not going to happen. Even with the highest level model, the Halo, at 800 lumen output, I'll show you. It's the screen's on, can't see it at all. So during the day, you're not going to use it. Just not going to happen. But after sunset, or right around dusk, late dusk, it starts to get usable. So usually we play our movies at 8:30 at night during the summer. That seems to be about the time when it gets dark enough, 8:30, 8:45. The sun's gone down and you can start to use it easily and you can see it and it works great. So keep that in mind. You're only using this in a dark place, and if you're fine with that, then it's great. What are the other things? Well, like I said, it auto focuses when you set it up, so you can place this almost anywhere. The other really cool thing is you can actually set this off to the side. You don't have to have it projecting straight on. It doesn't have to be perfectly aligned. You have these controls. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, and then you can do something called keystone correction, and let's show you that now. No matter where you have this projector set up, if you have it set off to the side or at an angle, you can go in here and you can adjust exactly the positioning so that it fits your screen just right. Once you've got it set up, you're good to go. Now, I've done a terrible job here, but it's a lot easier on the projector screen because you can see exactly where the edges of the projector are. You can line that up with the lines on the outside, and it's a very simple, straightforward process. I think a squirrel's trying to attack us. So how about the built-in sound? So it's got Harman Kardon speakers built into it, and they sound pretty good. I'm gonna Allen key to stick in here just so you can get extra torque through this hole here. The other thing to note is this does say this side facing grass on one side of the blade. One thing I've noticed, and this is a tip I'll give you, the projector needs to be either right about where you're at, so kind of parallel to you, or behind you. And if you have it like that, then the sound is great because the sound comes out of the sides here and somewhat out of the front. And so that's going to be the best experience. If you have the projector way out in front of you, you're going to have trouble hearing the voices when the action's going on. Also, if it's real noisy, they're not the loudest speakers. They're 6-watt speakers, so I think you can expect 6 watts of performance out of them. But it's fine for watching a movie. Last night we watched Charlotte's Web with the kids, and it was great. None of us had any problems hearing it, and it sounded pretty good overall. It also, like I said, you can plug in some external speakers if you want, or even headphones. I've watched a couple movies out here and I've just plugged in my headphones, popped them on, and then watched the movie without interrupting or bothering my neighbors. So then what are the cons? Well, I think the battery life could be better. One of the things I noticed is that you can't really watch a full feature-length film on this and have it at the bright output that you'd hope for. So that's one thing. I did end up using an extension cord most of the time when I use it outdoors, which kind of defeats the kind of coolness of having this wireless, but it's still pretty cool. And for shorter movies, or if you don't need the highest level of light output, it's fine. It works great. And that brings us into the apps. This is probably the biggest pro, and there's a minor con that we'll talk about with that too. It's more of a nuisance than anything. Being Android, it's great because, again, you've got this whole host of thousands of apps from the Play Store. So I've got Amazon Prime Video bundled with it, built in. Cool, that works great. I've got YouTube, that works great. You've got TED Talks, a few other things. I was able to load the Plex app and connect to my Plex server wirelessly over Wi-Fi, which is great because then I can stream movies and music and everything else that I have set up on Plex from pretty much anywhere. I have Wi-Fi coverage in my backyard, and the Wi-Fi streaming capabilities of this have been phenomenal. I love it. The one downside to this is that this device is not certified for Netflix. It's kind of a big deal. So the Netflix app simply will not work on the device, but fortunately, there's a workaround, as there often is with tech. So you can download what's called an APK. It's basically the Java code that they compile and make into an app. You can download that onto a USB device, and fortunately, since this has USB built into it, you can use a piece of software that you can download from the Play Store called Kodi, K-O-D-I, and you can simply side load the Netflix app onto this. Someone has made a modified version that works perfectly on this. It has good user interface, good navigation, and I haven't found anything that doesn't work in that. So while it doesn't work out of the box with Netflix, in probably 5 or 10 minutes you can get it working with Netflix, and then you're off to the races. You don't have anything to worry about. It's pretty easy. Older reviews of this mentioned that Amazon Prime and I think Disney Plus didn't work with this. They do now. They're certified and they work on this device, so that's no longer an issue. It was really just Netflix. And so I've had a lot of issues with Netflix lately, if you haven't noticed. My last review of the Sonos Arc soundbar, well, Netflix on my TV is also an issue there. They haven't certified it for Atmos support, even though it's a widely used TCL 6 series TV. And so, Netflix, what are you doing? This is disappointed dad face. Overall, I'm pretty happy. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions about these projectors, or you have any suggestions for perhaps a better projector. As always, this is not a paid review. I was not given these devices. I paid for them with my own money. So this is my honest opinion, and that's what you can expect from me when you watch my reviews. Till next time, everyone, thank you so much. See ya.